Some people use crypto to change their own lives.
He's one of the wealthiest investors in the world in the crypto space.
Some people use crypto to change the future.
Bitcoin is the first currency in the world that is created by people instead of by governments.
I think it's probably one of the most exciting technical innovations that there's ever been.
Brock Pierce is an early adopter and Bitcoin billionaire, turning his passion for crypto into a crusade.
Bitcoin is a way to tap into the future. It might save your life one day.
He wants to bring crypto to the world.
Brock is no doubt a visionary.
I spent my life doing impossible things, right? I'm not limited by reality as it currently exists.
But the world may not be ready for Brock Pierce and his crypto vision.
We don't want you in Puerto Rico!
So I think of life kind of like a game. And so in the game of life, how do you measure your success, right? How are you keeping score? And so I went into the options menu of life and I chose my own adventure.
Please welcome Brock Pierce.
Crypto is the new Wild West.
North Korea's operatives, using keyboards rather than guns, have become the world's leading bank robbers.
A magnet for crime and for revolution.
Placed on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list.
A playground for outlaws and visionaries.
A man who's made a fortune in cryptocurrency running for president.
But can anyone truly control cryptocurrency? Only a few dare to try.
It is from the sky from which Hurricane Maria came that you can see most clearly the damage she caused here.
When Hurricane Maria strikes, it leaves an aftermath of devastation across a part of America that's often overlooked.
The argument that has been used to justify the relationship with America is that here we have this nation that can help us when the time comes. Well, guess what? The time came. And that didn't happen.
The storm cut a swathe through this island that caused so much damage, it could take months, even years to recover.
Relief and recovery efforts are failing.
It's horrible to be in that situation where you can't do anything and you're just waiting.
But in the wake of the storm, one man believes he can do what the government can't.
It was one of my crazier ideas, but I've been blessed with an abundance of opportunity. I'd made a decision to live a life in service, and in doing that, money hasn't really been my motivator. I'm here because Puerto Rico could use some help.
He has a vision to not only rebuild Puerto Rico, but to reinvent it.
You know, Hurricane Maria hit, the longest blackout in U.S. history. I moved down there in the midst of the blackout to try and put roofs on homes. I support 50 different philanthropic organizations on the island.
Fueling his crusade is an army of entrepreneurs and thought leaders, and also a bottomless wallet of cash in the form of cryptocurrency.
We're going to count to 3, we're going to clap our hands 3 times, and then we're going to project that energy and everything we're grateful for.
He really saw it as being a combination of being able to come down and sort of establish a place that an outcast group of misfits in the cryptocurrency world could go and find a little private utopia.
What we're trying to do is bring in some of that intellectual capital, some of that human capital, some of that financial capital, bring angels, angel investors, bring mentors, and hopefully provide tools to enable new opportunities. We're here to help Puerto Rico with its restart. It's always better with some help.
They believe they can help because in the crypto circles they run in, they reward risk takers, willing to bet on big ideas that disrupt the status quo. Like the enigmatic billionaire investor turned crypto evangelist, Brock Pierce.
I'm only interested in the jobs that no one else will or can do.
Brock has some serious swag. Do I think there's been controversy around Brock's journey? Oh, heck yes. Brock is a crypto cowboy.
Brock Pierce. I know he did some things to support Bitcoin early on. I don't think I was able to answer this guy. I just think he's
Brock is very entrepreneurial. He's become a very wealthy man.
Brock Pierce. Brock, good to see you.
May I please welcome to the show Brock Pierce.
I'm chairman of the Bitcoin Foundation, started Blockchain Capital, the first venture fund in this space that funded the Krakens, the Coinbases, the BitGos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I dream, I hope to soar like an eagle.
But the story of this crypto crusader doesn't start on the blockchain.
Well, I was a very entrepreneurial kid, and so I started acting at the age of 3. So I didn't choose to be an actor, I just grew up doing it. And I was very blessed or fortunate to have a fair amount of success. And then at the age of like 15, 16, and, I'm asking myself, what is it that I want to do in life? What is my calling? I was one of the first people to recognize that just because something was intangible didn't make it less valuable. And so I became the main market maker in the world, buying and selling the digital currencies across thousands of different game servers. So I was of the opinion that Bitcoin or something like it was inevitable. I was a very early miner. I was starting a new company every, call it 45 to 60 days. I've been involved in over 100 crypto projects.
Crypto's been very good to Brock.
He's one of the wealthiest investors in the world in the crypto space.
He's obviously vastly overaccomplished most people in the crypto industry.
The crypto community is now 200-300 million people. The fate of the United States in many ways is going to be impacted by this. This is the fourth industrial revolution.
And now, having conquered the digital markets, Brock has the means and the confidence to try and extend his success into the real world. Puerto Rico is his first experiment.
Crypto, Bitcoin, blockchain, it's such a small part of what I do. This is not a crypto movement. This is an everything movement. The top people I know in healthcare are here. The top people I know in education are here. The top people I know in agriculture or permaculture are here. They're all here right now.
Brock's plan is not much of a plan. He believes that Puerto Rico can be fixed by unleashing a team of enterprising everything experts onto the island.
It's an incredible opportunity to upgrade systems, to create mass efficiency in a way that creates a higher quality of life and fairness for everybody. It's a game changer.
But coming from someone who's made $1 billion by following their own path, maybe it's not such a bad idea. And Puerto Rico can use any help it can get.
We should arrange for a cruise ship, like Summit, to come in. And is there a port in Mayagüez where we can park? That brings in the extra housing, because we're going to bring too many people. We need the beds. Yeah. Thank you.
Not everybody is convinced by Brock's unorthodox recovery plan.
They're announcing that they're looking to do their own private cities here in Puerto Rico. And for the people of Puerto Rico, that sounds a lot as the same colonialism that we lived 100 years ago when the United States came in, 400 years ago or 500 years ago when Spain came in.
I only casually observed Brock Pierce's entry into Puerto Rico and the claims that he was going to make it into a crypto utopia. But I'm well aware that the reason to go to Puerto Rico is for the tax benefits. You can get out from paying capital gains on your crypto if you live in Puerto Rico. That's fine to do, but trying to wrap that in altruistic cloth didn't really work for me. And the Puerto Ricans I know, they're not big fans of the crypto community coming into their place.
Fuck you to the right, you piece of shit! We don't want you in Puerto Rico! Get the f out of Puerto Rico!
Brock Pierce, crypto visionary and Bitcoin billionaire, relocates to Puerto Rico in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. But why he goes is a matter for debate.
Puerto Rico has a PR problem first and foremost. Everyone's showing up, the media showing up, these conversations happening is putting Puerto Rico back on the map.
The crypto bros that come to the island are mainly looking for tax savings, beautiful beaches, and are probably looking forward to going out at night and meeting new girls and living life to the fullest. I think some locals consider Brock Pierce a crypto colonizer because he's the one on television. He's the one that's easy to point your finger at. He's having fun. While everyone's having a hard time on the island, he's having a blast.
At a time when many locals are just struggling to survive, seeing Brock and his buddies live it up while claiming they're just here to help makes some question their vision for Puerto Rico.
They're worried that in a time of vulnerability, they're worried that in a time where we economically, fiscally, and politically are in a very, very weak position, these individuals are going to come in and they're going to rebuild Puerto Rico according to their version of what Puerto Rico should be, and not necessarily what Puerto Ricans want Puerto Rico to be.
I'm here in service to help Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's basic needs are not met. The state of emergency is not over. They are still in need of first responders.
Puerto Ricans will say, tell me about it. I've been living through this. So you knowing that Puerto Rico has a history of colonialism, surely you understand why seeing a group of people coming in and saying we're here to save you is a little bit offensive.
Puerto Ricans don't need our help. They can do this on their own. What I can directly bring down here is capital.
I've heard things like, come here, move here, buy all these beautiful properties that have been foreclosed. Well, on the other side of that, there's a lot of pain and suffering from people who can no longer afford to live here.
This is not a gold rush. What you invest in is the people.
I think the misconception is that Barack was trying to come down as a savior to the island, and then the people of Puerto Rico said, that's not our vision. I think there's room enough in an island of 3.5 million people or 3.2 million to have multiple visions for what you want to do with, your investments.
When Barack came to the island, one of the first things that came out was his article in the New York Times talking about the crypto utopia that believed that government services can be more efficient, that cryptocurrency can help individual sovereign rights. It was a visionary's dream. I think Brock Pierce is a visionary for having that dream. However, today, there is no crypto utopia, there is no soul city where everything runs on blockchain.
I mean, the crypto utopia that I heard about Brock Pierce trying to create in Puerto Rico just sounds like another bullshit crypto shitcoin project. I'm sure it was an epic failure.
Successful or not in Puerto Rico, Brock never falters in his belief in the utopian promise of crypto. And he wants to test that promise on the biggest stage. In July 2020, he announces that he will run as an independent candidate for President of the United States.
We have an opportunity to upgrade America, to write a new operating system for this country, to create America 2.0.
When I think about what Brock could bring to our country, it was massive. We don't have people who are thinking outside the box. The financial innovation that he was already illustrating in terms of his leadership, I thought was key for our country to stay competitive as a nation.
We need visionary leadership that understands how to navigate the road ahead.
A passion of Brock's is making a difference as a political leader. Certainly if Brock wants to run for president, I think that he's as well qualified in terms of his ideas and his ability to engage with people as any of the current crop.
Brock's platform is built on one of his biggest ideas yet, a national, universal basic income for all Americans, funded by cryptocurrency.
Number one was financial innovation, right? There was an opportunity, and there is still today, with the blockchain to begin to create more equity. It's about having a leader that is willing to say, we have a lot of areas to improve upon, and that is our financial systems, so that there's equity for all. And so that's what gets me excited about a quote-unquote crypto president.
Is America ready for a crypto president? Observers say no, and aren't shy about questioning Brock's motives.
When people get rich quick, sometimes they end up with more money than sense.
I've held many offices all over the world, none of which were political, but I know how to build things out of nothing. I am not limited by the status quo. I am not limited by the present reality in which we live. I see beyond that. I see into the future, and I see a brighter future for the United States of America.
And I think Brock Pierce's quixotic bid for the presidency was a way to get rid of money, perhaps. Maybe it's a way to raise his profile as a person who was a child actor, I think the limelight is naturally going to be something that's important. I think Brock Pierce is about the Brock Pierce show.
I believe that we could actually have a chance, right? It was going to be a long shot, but there could always be a chance. So we didn't win. That's the news, right? We didn't win. I think we ended around 43,000 in terms of a number of votes.
It seems America isn't ready for a Bitcoin president. And Brock's dreams collide with the reality that you're not going to upend the whole financial system with the sci-fi dream of a crypto-based national currency. And yet,
in El Salvador, we are trying to start the design of a country for the future. Using the best ingredients that makes us who we are, I believe Bitcoin could be one of these ideas. That is why next week, I will send to Congress a bill that will make Bitcoin a legal tender in El Salvador.
It turns out Brock's not alone. On the other side of the Caribbean Sea from Puerto Rico, El Salvador is leading the largest global crypto experiment in history. And so, Brock hops on a plane. In Puerto Rico, Brock Pierce's mission is not going well. And he was unsuccessful in his presidential campaign. But his faith that this tech is going to change the world remains. And now, he believes it's going to start in the countries that are locked out of the traditional banking system.
We've got nearly 3 billion people on the planet with no access to financial services, another 2 to 3 billion people on the planet with limited access to financial services. Go south of the border, go look at Latin America, Africa, Southeast Asia. This is where this technology has the ability to improve people's lives by an order of magnitude.
El Salvador's president agrees with Brock and makes a radical announcement that startles the financial world.
Bitcoin now a legal currency in El Salvador. The country's president announced the move earlier this month.
It's a risky move and a huge gamble in a sector that's notoriously volatile. But many still see it as the best option.
80% of the people in El Salvador don't have a bank account, so I see Bitcoin as an alternative to the banking system. I see Bitcoin as a way to enhance people's businesses, dreams, and ambitions.
I think the adoption of Bitcoin in El Salvador is a fantastic idea. It's had a really positive impact on the country as a whole.
Never before in El Salvador, I believe, has there been so much positivity among the population to embrace the future and build it, and never before has there been so much capital inflow in local businesses.
I think it's hugely important for the world and especially for El Salvadorians.
Brock has been waiting for a big move just like this and wants to help El Salvador show the world that crypto can work on a global level.
Brock Pierce is at El Salvador's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where he's leading an official delegation of Bitcoin ambassadors to help the nation kick off its crypto strategy.
Fortune favors the bold, the future belongs to the bold, and I commend this president, I commend this government for recognizing that innovation, the world is changing, and we have to adapt to it if we wish to be the beneficiaries of it.
But again, some feel it's the spotlight that is really calling Brock.
I was over there making a film. Bitcoin had been made into legal tender, and he arrived with an entourage, a Bitcoin delegation. All the people I know have been involved in El Salvador, been traveling out there, and little small groups of people, and just trying to push it forward. And then comes Brock Pierce and his friends trying to, I don't know, claim credit for the project. I don't know what they were trying to do, but it wasn't very Bitcoin to me.
The cryptocurrency community, on average, is really, really opposed to officialdom, really, really opposed to authority. They do believe in decentralization of power. So it was a really delightful comedic moment when Brock Pierce went to El Salvador claiming that he was the official delegation to the country. The crypto community doesn't have official delegations.
Not everybody minds him being there, but is he really doing anything to help the crypto cause?
Brock Pierce, I remember him when he came with some other people here to El Salvador. Very cool guy, very nice. He does a great job because he brought a lot of people over here to El Salvador, and they could experience all what's going on here.
He's a shitcoiner, but he's a fun guy. I met him in Miami. He invited me and my boyfriend to a super fun party.
He came and claimed that he was the official Bitcoin ambassador, which is funny because there is no official Bitcoin ambassador, and he's not really that involved in the Bitcoiners in El Salvador. He really played no part in the adoption here. He flew in after the fact, with his publicist, with paid cameras around him, trying to insert himself into what was happening here.
So, who is Brock helping? Over a year in, it doesn't look like El Salvador's big crypto gamble is paying off.
Fíjese que para mí me da igual que lo quiten o esté, porque para mí no es ningún beneficio eso. Yo aquí vengo a trabajar solo con el dólar. Bitcoin no acepto yo.
And back in Puerto Rico, their infrastructure has still not been rebuilt since Maria, and the island has been battered again by another hurricane.
Challenges continue. Earthquake, COVID, supply chain crisis, a power grid that remains unreliable.
Brock may be the self-appointed crypto ambassador to the world, but so far, the crypto revolution is yet to rise.
I imagine that when people start investigating crypto, they come across characters like Brock Pierce, and it looks a little weird. But he also has been one who has drawn attention to crypto in some of the worst ways.
Brock says controversial things, so he gets a lot of the headlines. People who are taking the risks often reap the rewards early in an industry.
In historic terms, a character like Brock Pierce matters a little bit. He did some good things, but he's also been a little bit of a clown prince, bringing embarrassment to the crypto community internally and externally. You know what? Bitcoin doesn't care.
What Brock has inspired me with is just this boldness in being able to do what you're called to do. He's just being 100% who he is without all the labels and how you're supposed to behave. Brock is no doubt a visionary.
The way the world looks is going to be determined by the decisions being made today. And there will be winners or losers, because the real opportunity to benefit massively from innovation normally ends up in the hands of those that are early. You don't want to be first, but you don't want to be last.